What is going on YouTube? My name is Dom and this is the first in my new series, I'm going to call it Extreme Map Strat. Anyway, so originally I was going to try to do 2 or 3 maps in one video, but the detail that I want to go into is just too extreme, I guess, for that kind of depth. So I'm just going to be doing one video at a time, try to bust out like 2 or 3 a week, possibly because of how valuable I think these videos are actually going to be. But anyway, before we get started, please go ahead and drop a like or a dislike, just depending on how you enjoyed the video. And then always feel free to share, just so that more people can be exposed to Ghost Recon and we can try to build the community piece by piece. Today I'm going to talk about Quarry because I like Quarry a lot. I think it's one of the most popular maps out there, and it's something that I really wanted to talk about because I feel like the strategy with this one is a little bit misunderstood. So there's a few points on this map that I'm actually going to be pointing out. I have a few different shots that I was able to take that I'm going to be using to elaborate my points. There are a few places that you want to keep an eye on with this map, and I like to call them castles. I like to call a lot of the points in this map castles because I feel like they're really easy to defend. Sort of like a castle, you have towers and walls and all that sort of thing. That's just how I feel about it. Now there's a few big ones that I want to point out. There is a massive one towards the top spawn on the left flank. That is going to be the biggest castle, I feel. There is another one in the middle on the right, and then there is one on the back right as well towards the top spawn. Now I really feel that this map weighs heavy. Well, it gives the advantage to players that play the top spawn. But there are ways around it that you can go ahead and you can try to take down people. So that's why I'm going to begin with talking about the top spawn and the defensive options that you have, or the offensive options as well. Now personally, I like to play the wide flank the most. I have 2 different flanks. There's canal and then there's the wide flank. You don't have a middle route. If you run down the middle of the street, you're gonna fucking die. So that's really why there's only 2 paths here. Now, when I begin top spawn, a majority of the time I am gonna go to this wide flanking option and I'm gonna hold fort right there. I like to have a marksman on top of the first tower, which is sort of in the middle overlooking Recon. And then I like to have an assault over there to make sure that nobody pushes that flank and to kind of hold them down, because in between that area and the Recon tower, there is sort of no man's land. So people really can't go there without getting fucked up. When I'm doing that, I'll also have 2 people on the canal option. Try to push up mid to capture that castle that's in the middle near Recon. If they can't do that, then they can always go back to the castle that's back there. I like to have a marksman and an assault there as well, possibly a support. And I'll just basically hold fort and wait for the other team to start attacking me and start sort of clashing into my front line, in which case most of the time they're going to get fucked up pretty quick. Now it's important to note that there is a sniper haven. Now you get on there, you have perfect lines of sight to the other side of the map while this team is trying to push up. You can sort of count on snipers to be there because that's why I'm going to call it a sniper haven. I use that little emblem for a sniper haven. Just always be aware of that. If you're on bottom spawn, you're running left, you want to be aware of those lines of sight. When you're beginning bottom spawn, it's kind of difficult to figure out exactly what you should do. You have options to run canal, you have options to run wide flank. Both of them are mixed bag. You have pros and cons to doing each. So when you push canal, if they push that middle castle that's right there, they're going to get there before you most of the time. And if you're there, if they're there before you, you are at a significant disadvantage. You're in another no man's land, and they're basically just going to be hailing bullets down on you. Now, when I'm on bottom spawn, I particularly like to run wide flank. But I will also have 1 to 2 people running canal just to sort of keep that option open in case everybody does line up on wide flank. It does happen a lot that people will go to that back left castle and just sort of sit there. I will go and I will challenge them near all the scaffolding and well, not scaffolding, but near all the construction equipment, sort of sit there and use that all as cover in order to sort of try to make an assault on that back left castle. It's not always an option, but sometimes people will push there and then you can get a few kills in no man's land, hopefully, because then you can set yourself up real nice. Now here's the important thing to note with this. You have to understand which flank the team is using more. A lot of times people aren't going to play defensive like I will or like my squad will, so a lot of times people are going to be pushing you and trying to match you, and it's important to figure out which side that they're going to be doing that on. If you have 3 people left and 1 person right, you're going to want to take 2 to 3 people to smash that right flank and just sort of get right through it and try to surround left castle. The same strategy goes if they're all on the right side. You want to crash the left side and swarm them. That is the big takeaway from this. If when you are spawning bottom, you really want to be offensive, and when you're spawning top, you really want to be defensive and spread out. Because when you're bottom spawn, you really want to take heavy assaults, be prepared to knock the door down on either flank that you're running. But if they're split 2-2, playing very defensive, it's a very sort of peek and try to get the kill game at that point. I mean, you can try to smash the flank, but the thing is, you don't want to go 4v2. You don't want to take all of your guys to one flank, because when you're playing against a better team, the rest of them are going to push up and swarm you and surround you. And that's the real difficulty with playing this map. You really have to try to read minds to understand what's going on. But that's the big takeaway, is you want to have a staggered formation, 2 on each side, or particularly 3 and 1 if you're going to try to smash a certain flank and swarm an enemy opponent. You want to make sure the person you line up by themselves to sort of hold the line on that one flank, you want to make sure that they are not going to try to get kills and to mess people up, particularly because they need to stay alive to hold that piece in position. You want them doing something called peacocking, which is basically where they're going to be popping off a lot of shots, trying to get kills, sort of distracting the opponents, because typically what happens is when people see one person shooting, the rest of them sort of flock to that one person and forget that there's 3 other people on the battlefield, and they can get swarmed very easily. But anyway, if you guys had any thoughts, opinions, comments about the video, please drop it down in the comment section below. What maps would you like to see next? The ones I had in mind were Desert Outpost and Scrapyard, but please let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video.